Hello, everybody, and welcome to the No Prescription Needed podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Maurice Shaw. Um, People have been asking me, when's the podcast coming back? Editing videos takes a lot of work on top of just everyday life, so I had stopped doing the podcast for a while, but it's kind of funny. People ask my opinions on things when I don't do a podcast, and then when I do a podcast on the things they ask my opinion on, nobody listens, but I'm going to post this anyway. Just a couple topics. First, you may have already heard about Vermont's Office of Professional Regulations pursuing charges against Walgreens Pharmacies. I guess the state is alleging the company's policies and procedures are to blame in part for the unsafe conditions at the stores during the last 3 years. So on June 21st, the Office of Prosecuting Attorney filed a 40-page charging document against the national chain, requesting that the Vermont Board of Pharmacy revoke, suspend, reprimand, condition, or otherwise discipline the licenses of the state's 32 Walgreens, all of which are implicated in the document. Also, according to the story, it says the director of Office of Professional Regulations, the charges emerged from 70 complaints filed by Walgreens employees and customers, as well as employees of other Vermont pharmacies. Wow, it's kind of crazy. They're charging all 32 of the Walgreens, but they're attacking all the 32 Walgreens in the state. It also says that in the investigation in 2000, in the spring of 2021, a patient at the Manchester Walgreens was allegedly prescribed capsules 5 times stronger than her usual dose, which resulted in hallucinations, nausea, and blurred vision for several days and caused her to miss school. In October of 2021, according to this document, a patient was given Pfizer COVID booster instead of a flu shot that they requested. On April 9th of 2021, in this document also states that the pharmacy staff found the safe containing Schedule II controlled substances ajar and discovered the drugs in question on the main shelves, as well as discrepancies between the inventory and what was in the store. The pharmacy manager of the store indicated that he had been unable to keep up with the controlled drug inventory for some time due to the workload, adding that he sometimes left the safe door open because it was tricky and on the 3-minute delay between inserting the key opening the safe. I hated that safe. They said it was for our safety, but I felt like that safe was more likely to get me killed because a robber didn't feel like they wanted to wait the 3 minutes for it to open. Just reading this, especially with that C2 discrepancies in the on-hand counts, how did it take 3 years for something to happen? Like, I felt like something probably should have been done earlier, simply just based off the missing control, let alone the abuse and overworking staff. My guess is that the Vermont Office of Professional Regulations phone kept ringing off the damn hook like a CVS, and they couldn't take it. The five pharmacy calls, and they were like, well, look, we got to do something. This phone won't stop ringing. Now they know how we feel in the pharmacy. It also says complaints from the same store also reported that the pharmacy staff members were unable to answer the phone most days. Nothing new. It's funny when I read these articles, they make it seem like this is just unbelievable. Like, how could this happen? But for us, we've been saying this for years. In November 2021, a Florida pharmacist allegedly informed a caller that the pharmacy was barely open, and whatever prescription the caller was looking for probably wasn't ready due to lack of staff. They didn't even have time to look. It's probably not ready. Oh God, these poor people in Vermont. It says when the same Florida pharmacist reported the unsafe workload and lack of staffing issues to his district manager, he reported being told, "Figure it out, and we need to be Netflix, not Blockbuster." What the fuck does that mean? Anyway, according to the charging document, Walgreens provided no assistance in response to the Florida pharmacist's plea for help. Yeah, they probably just told him it's a known issue. Documentation shows that the lack of pharmacy staff resulted in over 325 days of unexpected Walgreens closures throughout the state between July 2020 and April of 2022. I mean, we all know that, these companies don't care about the patients, the pharmacists, or the technicians. It's all about the shareholder earnings. That's it. I mean, to be honest, I'm glad that they got charged, even though this is not anything new. The major change, they talk about patient care, but it's all about the bottom line, profit. Nothing else matters. I am glad the board is actually doing something. It's crazy that it's taken this long for anything to happen, but hopefully it'll start a trend. Hopefully this will happen in all the states. Me personally, I don't know who should be more embarrassed, Walgreens or the Board of Pharmacy, for letting this situation get this far without stepping in much earlier. My only surprise about this article is that it didn't happen sooner. I guess now the big question is, will other states follow? And will this help at all? Only time will tell. Another thing I wanted to talk about, I know a lot of people, they're trying to find different ways. They always reach out to me. I don't want to work. I don't want to be a retail pharmacist no more. I actually don't want to be a pharmacist at all. What else could I do? And so I actually found an article, 23 alternative careers for pharmacists. Now, I'm not going to list all 23. I think that I'm just going to list 5 that probably were the highest paying in terms of salary, because that's probably like the biggest issue from pharmacists. They don't mind doing something else that has a lower salary, but it just depends. They can't go from making like 100 and let's say 30,000 to 60,000, but these 5 were comparable. I'll put the entire list in the video description if you want to look at all 23, but I'm just going to go through 5 of them real quick. Clinical research associate. They said the national average salary was a little over 97,000 a year. It says primary duties: a clinical research associate manages clinical trials and studies related to pharmaceutical and biotech products, drugs, and procedures. They perform research to ensure the safety of these products on the market. I hate research, but if you like research, this may be the job for you. Research scientist, national average, almost 108,000 per year. Primary duties: research scientist designs and analyze information in laboratory investigations, trials, and experiments. They plan and conduct experiments, write grant proposals, complete funding applications, and work alongside team members and supporting staff. Sounds interesting, but God, I would hate to write grant proposals. Let's see what else they got here. Regulatory affairs manager, national average, almost 108,000 per year. Also, primary duties: regulatory affairs managers ensure companies remain compliant with rules and regulations set by different regulatory agencies. They oversee the regulation process, create procedures to verify compliance, and coordinate company inspections. Now, I could do that. I feel it's like being a pharmacy manager. But you probably are actually given time to manage versus having to do everything because you don't have enough staff. End of this list, the one that was the highest paying, at almost 113,000 per year for the national average. Clinical research scientist. Clinical research scientists perform medical research in a laboratory setting. They spend most of their time researching and investigating various diseases to identify health conditions. They use their findings to help physicians provide patients with accurate diagnosis. Clinical research scientists also ensure the safety and effectiveness of medications, treatments, procedures, and devices, and design trial materials. Interesting. I stand corrected. I don't know if I said that was the highest paying, but the highest paying one on this list was pharmacologists at $118,000 per year national averages. Pharmacologists study and test new medications and chemical compounds for the development of drug therapies and the prevention of harmful drug interactions. They evaluate potential side effects of different drugs, conduct experiments, interpret data, and manage laboratory and staff members. I like that. I know somebody on a Reddit, they said they were a medical writer and they were making over $100,000 a year. I believe that's also on the list. But like I said, there's 23 different alternatives. I'll put a copy to the link. I kind of went on down a rabbit hole when I was on Reddit over a thread of pharmacists just looking for other things to do. And pharmacists started chiming in different things that they were doing. Like one guy, I think he said real estate agent. One guy became a police officer. One person was a medical writer. Was actually doing pretty well. I know somebody personally who just opened up a gym and just said they don't care if the gym goes out of business. They'll just rather be homeless than be a retail pharmacist, which I don't blame them. Mark Cuban. Some of you may have heard Cost Plus Pharmacy. Mark Cuban's pharmacy is already saving billions. So I don't know if you heard, he has this pharmacy that you just pay cash and everything is transparent. So it's an online pharmacy. It says they offer 100 affordable generic drugs, but I think it's more than that by now. The company, they get these cost savings. They basically remove the insurance plans to get rid of the PBMs from the drug supply chain. And my question is this sustainable? Will it work? I think its business model could be disruptive by making the supply chain a lot more simpler and medication more affordable. However, in my opinion, it's going to take some time for the industry to feel his company's impact, to cause some disruption, because he only has about 200 generic drugs right now, no brand name drugs. I mean, pretty soon, I think he's trying to. Mark Cuban wants to be the entire chain. Soon he'll act as his own PBM for health plans, a manufacturer for its wholesaler, a wholesaler for its pharmacy, and a drug retailer for its customers. I think his long-term plan is to be its own supply chain. But I think as soon as this venture can act as a PBM and accept insurance and have a much wider offering of drugs, it will be disruptive, but not until then. I think this is a great step forward for people without insurance. And if nothing else, it should be a wake-up call to the pharma industry that if they don't solve their pricing issues, someone else will. Targeting people who don't have insurance and need generic drugs, which I guess is a small amount of the market. And the problem is also, in my opinion, the brand name drugs don't have any competition. And I'm sure a lot of it's probably hard for Mark Cuban because manufacturers probably don't want to do business with him because they're afraid of the PBMs and how it might affect their business. But we'll see. Hopefully, like I said, that this does work out and can bring some disruption to the way prescription drugs are priced. Well, everybody, that's all that I have. I try not to keep them too long. I try to keep them around 15 minutes because I'm sure that's about as much break time as people get in the pharmacy. So I try to make it short, give you something to listen to while you're at work. All right, everybody, that is it for the episode. If you have anything that you want me to talk about or hear my opinions on, feel free to email me at doctorofcomedy@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there. Bye-bye.